Watch this video to learn how to play Air in D minor by Henry Purcell, part of the RCM Level 2 List A repertoire. Before we begin today, let's look at our practice plan for Air in D minor. You are going to practice this piece 5 to 10 minutes a day. At first, you're going to learn one line at a time, which we will do in this video. Then you will learn 2 lines at a time, and then you will polish the piece in 2-line sections before you polish it as a whole piece. As you practice, remember that you are aiming for mastery. Mastery is much more than learning the notes. When you have mastery, you are consistent, accurate, precise, and you feel confident. In order to have mastery, you must have complete confidence over all of these things on this checklist. Use this checklist as a self-assessment at the end of each of your practices to set your target for the next day. Today we're looking at Air in D minor by Henry Purcell. This is a Baroque era song and it has a distinctive Baroque feel to it. This piece has a right hand part that is smooth and connected. Most of your phrasing happens in the right hand, and the left hand part is more detached and short. Let's take a look at some of the overview information about this piece. First of all, it is written in 3/4 time. So we are going to be counting 3 beats to a measure, quarter note gets a beat. It has a B flat here, which means that is either in the key of F major or D minor, and there is a big clue for us right there in the title. But we do need to make sure to maintain this B flat throughout the piece. The next thing I want to look at is the dynamic layout of this piece. The first line is forte, then we have mezzo forte, then we have piano and mezzo forte. So the opening of this piece is the loudest part. The softest part will be right here in the 3rd line. Also, it says that our tempo should be between 112 and 120 beats a minute. Now we're going to look at learning this piece one hand at a time to begin with, because each of the hands does have a very different feel to it. Let's start with the right hand. So you'll notice here that there are slur marks in each of these measures. A phrase in this piece is a full 4-measure line. So this entire line right here is a phrase, and the same is true for the other lines in this piece. But within this phrase, we are going to shape each measure with a little bit of a lift at the end of the measure to separate it and lead into the next one. And when we do that lift, we're going to make sure to round forward with our hands so that our wrist is coming up and helping to cushion the sound so it doesn't sound too abrupt. So this is where we start. Our right hand 3rd finger begins on D, 1 octave above middle C. This is middle C right here. So the first line we begin on D, round off there, and then we land on A, round off F, and then 4th finger on E. Notice my wrist is coming up a lot to help cushion that sound. This is how we make it sound correct. Try it with me. First line, 1, 2, 3. Good. Let's move on to the next line. It starts out similarly, but here we get a pinky. Try it with me. 1, 2, 3. Good. Let's look at the next line. Line 3 begins with your 3rd finger on A. We're still following this pattern of a round off at the end of each measure. Try it with me. 1, 2, 3. Great. The last line begins with this 4 on B flat. And with that last note, we're going to sink into it. Try the last line with me, 4 on B flat. 1, 2, 3. Great, let's play the entire right hand part now from beginning to end, and we're going to add in the dynamics. Beginning the first line forte, the second line mezzo forte, the third line piano, and the last line mezzo forte. 1, 2, 3. Let's now look at what the left hand does. It begins with 5th finger on D below middle C. Middle C is right here, and we're immediately going to be stretched out and ready to come up the octave. First line looks like this. Try it with me. 1, 2, 3. C sharp, B natural, D, C sharp, B flat. Great. For the next one, we're going to come down here with our thumb under again. And this is a D at the bottom. I know it might be off the camera. Let's try that second line together. 1, 2, 3. The sound that we're making, it's not staccato. Staccato is like this, and we're not going staccato. We are separating our notes, so it's separated but not crisp. The third line looks like this with a 5 starting on F. Try it with me. 1, 2, 3. Last line starts with 4 on G. Try this one with me. We do have half notes here that are going to be longer. 1, 2, 3. Now let's play the left hand for the whole piece, looking at the dynamics. We're going to begin forte, move to mezzo forte, piano in the third line, mezzo forte at the end. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to start putting this together, and we are going to start with the last line. So beginning in measure 13 and going fairly slow as we put it together for the first time. Your 4th finger for your right hand should be on B flat. Your left hand 4th finger should be on G. 1, 2, 3. As you pause and do that on your own, I would like you to make sure that you are maintaining the integrity of the articulation for the right hand and the left hand, and then the dynamics as well. It is now time to pause and play line 4 independently. You should play it 4 times in a row, focusing each time on one of these topics that you see here. Now let's take a look at line 3. Line 3 begins with your right hand third finger on A, your left hand fifth finger on F. We're going to go nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. Good. I'm going to have you pause and practice that on your own. You should now pause and play line 3 independently, focusing on these things. Now let's look at line 2. Line 2 begins with your right hand third finger on D and your left hand first finger on F. 1, 2, 3. Pause and practice on your own. Now it's time to pause and play line 2 independently 4 times with these focuses. We will now look at the first line. First line begins right hand third finger on D, left hand fifth finger on D also. 1, 2, 3. We're going to pause and play one last time, line 1, 4 times with these focuses. Now that you have learned each line independently, you are done with step 1 of the practice plan. Here is a reminder of the next steps for you to complete independently. You have reached the end of this video. Great work today, learning how to play air in D minor. Good luck mastering this piece on your own. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please do like it, and you can subscribe to my channel in order to see more tutorials and demos. Thank you.